Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Madmen with a Box, live for the 168th time. I'm Pixel, one of your hosts. To my side, on the other side of the world, is the Australian, the other one of your hosts.
One more number, and it's funny.
I'm not gonna. No, God.
Oh, we're just gonna skip the 170.
No.
Canada's a lost episode. Ian Levine, get in on it. We need an AI recreation of the lost 169th Madmen with a Box episode. Now, I'm sure you will accept our money. You definitely need it.
Look below. Who do you see? It's Gevain.
Yes, how are you doing?
And lastly, not leastly, it's Joe of the Corallos.
It's true. I'm here. Hello.
And we're here today to talk about the Magic Mousetrap by Big Finish. But before that, we have something special to talk about. Oh, Joe also gets to talk about the war between the land and the sea. But I'm ready to talk about the trailer for the for Peter Davison's final season.
Yes.
Because that was fantastic.
It really was.
Pete, how is the best thing from Doctor Who that we've gotten in a little while? It's something by Pete Teague. And they're Daleks. I'm winning.
But, like, how much of a fuck you to Shooty Gatwa is it, who didn't get to face the Daleks, to be like, we're just going to have Peter Davison come back for 10 minutes to fight the Daleks briefly.
Not even fight the Daleks, just tell them, give them a good moment. Look up, look at my face. Who am I? Man,
Look me up.
That's good, though.
I also need an Uber. Take me there, please. But no, yes, season was it season 21, which is Peter Davison's last season, and also technically Colin Baker's first, because they decided, hey, we're going to change it up and have his first episode be the final serial for that season. It was definitely a choice. So we've got, I think a lot of people have always wondered, when they get to this season, how are they going to do the cover? Because it is technically two Doctors in this season. It's not even like the Doctor regenerates at the end of the season. No, he regenerates in the penultimate story. And then we get a full debut episode of the Sixth Doctor in here. So, but no, they've primarily just gone with, obviously, it's primarily Peter Davison series, so Fifth Doctor on the cover. Not even a little bit of like Sixth somewhere. Or even go like half-half. I don't know.
Has there ever been in Doctor Who, within one season, a story that was considered so good next to a story that's like universally despised as Caves of Androzani into the Twin Dilemma? Like,
oh, I'm sure if we look back, we could try and find something like that, like universally, like, but no, yeah, like Caves of, yeah, because looking at this season, you're starting off with Warriors of the Deep, yikes, followed by The Awakening, which I remember kind of liking, but I've only ever watched that story once, so I don't really have that much to go off. Frontios after that. Can't really recall that one. Then you got Resurrection of the Daleks. I definitely liked that one. Planet of Fire, Caves of Androzani, and then Twin Dilemma.
Yeah.
It is such a like high peak to lowest lows with Twin Dilemma. So yeah.
It's wild. I think they probably would have benefited. Like, it's one of the few times where I feel like it's like this could have been a 3-parter, and I think it would have been perfect, because like I think the biggest problem with Awakening is it starts strong and the ending feels rushed. I feel like it needed a little more space. Like if the second part was 2 parts, I think it probably would have been better.
Oh yeah, looking at it, it's only a 2-parter. Weird.
Yeah.
So who's ready for Doctor Who Unbound the series? Where we can have more of these. Just go ahead and give them full episodes. I was ready to sit there for another 40 minutes.
Yeah, no, the trailer was great. But no, I'm excited for this. I think this is the third Doctor that's had their entire series re-released via the collection. Because we have all of McCoy's, we have all of Colin Baker's.
Mm.
Actually, no. Yes, technically yes. Yeah, we have all of Colin Baker's. Now we have all of Peter Davison's. I think Tom Baker, we're just missing out on the Key to Time that whole season.
No one's missing out not seeing the Key to Time, but
I don't. Has Pertwee had all of his stuff for the collection? It'd have to be close. 8, 9, 10. Oh no, his last season isn't. So okay, so Pertwee needs one more as well. So both Pertwee and Tom Baker have one more full season to be re-released through the collection. And then Hartnell and Troughton, that's never going to happen unless they just bundle the animations or make new animations. So who knows? I'm excited. It's Peter Davison, favorite classic Doctor, so more him.
It's exciting. I haven't cried so much since Cedric died.
No one did. That's a lie.
Joe, I think now is the time that we part some of the land and some of the sea and hand the stage to you, as you are the only madman who has had the opportunity to watch the first 2 episodes of the thrilling Doctor Who spinoff.
Yeah, it looks like Joe has treaded forbidden land and sailed the 7 seas to watch this.
What had happened is because I was like, I'm not even going to bother because like I'll just wait. And then a buddy of mine texted me being like, oh, I just watched like the first 2 episodes. Was talking to me about it. And I was like, where did you watch those? And he was like, oh, well, it's a whole thing. I'd have to like set you up with it or whatever. And I was like, go for it. And so I was able to watch it. And I get why people who went to a screening of it with people who were involved, because I'm sure we've seen some of the same YouTubers.
It's always the same. It's always the same people that get invited to these things, because majority of the time, I'm not going to say they're paid shills, but they are more positive and less critical of Doctor Who, so they're always going to be invited back, because you don't necessarily want the yes people, but you want the people that will definitely drum up hype and get people like, you should watch, because I've watched this, you all my thousands and millions of subscribers, you should go all watch this because it's really good.
Yeah. And there is a very like, so it's like, I get why to some extent the overwhelming praise this has been getting. I think it's in part because people are kind of starved after that finale we've had. So I think anything that's like better than that was going to get praise, and it is better than that. So
that's again not a high bar.
It sounds like eating White Castle when you're hungry. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. It's like for sure, because there's a lot that's like it looks great. It does look good. It's the most I've probably liked, Kate Stewart as the Brigadier here. It's like, sure, again, low bar, because often she's paired with the Doctor in some way, and the Doctor makes her look really incompetent most of the time. She's either incompetent or angry in Doctor Who, and here it's more nuanced and it works a bit better. She works better here.
She's competent and angry.
Yeah, so like
she's not telling people, I think we're all your children.
Yeah, so like...
Is she looking into the camera and saying, there will be birds?
But like, so much of the cast is fine, but there's no real standouts. Like, it's fun. Like, the nice thing about Doctor Who is, like, usually the Doctor and the companion, a couple other people, like, stand out in a particular story. Is there's no real standouts. It's all kind of generic feeling. And so I think that drags it down a little bit. It also suffers tremendously by just being tied to Doctor Who in the sense of, so the Sea Devils, they're back, and UNIT has famously dealt with the Silurians and Sea Devils on multiple occasions. We know that 2 living companions, Jo Grant and Tegan Jovanka, have directly interacted with the Sea Devils before, and Russell T Davies has brought at least like Jo Grant back, and obviously Tegan came back, for Power of the Doctor. So it's like, we know they're back. We know they're alive. You went out of your way to reintroduce these companions on multiple occasions to New Who audiences. Why are they not here? There is absolutely no good excuse.
Why, considering I think, what was it, the season that the Sea Devils are introduced, like, they did the whole trailer for it, and it's about Jo finding like baby sea devils.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe she's going to. I feel like she is the most obvious to bring back for the spin-off. As much as I don't like that, like, we need to rely on nostalgia, guys. Remember, it's this character. Yeah. Remember them, guys. It's Mel. Don't worry, we're definitely going to do better stuff than classic Who with Mel. They didn't, but that would make sense for like Jo to be in the show. So I know there's still 3 episodes left, so maybe it is supposed to be like a secret that
and that
would going to be there.
And that would be, but like, it's like, if not, it's like you have to put something in to make it, like, give us an excuse or something, or like some kind of cameo to write off this character appearing in it. Like, that's one of the problems. It's like, if they didn't bring these characters back, it's a lot easier to kind of hand wave it, because we don't know the stats of the character. Maybe she's, passed, or is, met up with the Doctor again and is living on another planet or another time, whatever. But like, you're encumbered by the continuity, and it's like, you went out of your way to bring this stuff back.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't have to, and now you're doing a story, and it's like, you're telling me you should have at least done like throwaway lines or something of like Kate Stewart being like, we've been trying to get Jo Grant on the line and no one can find her, or something. You know? So like, that's kind of stupid. And again, like, there's no good reason the Doctor isn't there. There just isn't.
Especially with the 14th Doctor.
Yeah, I was about to say, especially when you establish that there is an incarnation that is permanently on Earth.
Yeah.
But he can't be involved. He's doing therapy, guys. He can't do anything. It's like, no, that's, to this day, it's still a stupid decision to have a doctor there with a copy of the TARDIS, and he can't do anything.
Yeah, so like the show, it suffers from that because you're just thinking like, I don't understand why. Like this is
14
like,
here.
Yeah, it's a global scale situation. This isn't like an isolated incident. Like
now, you've only seen 2 episodes. I'm sure you already know. Is the Master secretly there?
So far, no. But like we haven't seen. Like, so far in these 2 episodes, we have not seen the world in which the Silurians and Sea Devils and all that live in. Like, we've only seen them on the surface. We haven't gone underground water and really seen that. We've only seen them come up to the surface. So, maybe. Like, it's very possible.
Wasn't that a rumor? Wasn't that a rumor? Or
I think so.
That there's going to be a secret... a new scientific advisor, and it's actually the Master all along.
Yeah, I mean, it's still like there's still a lot that can happen in 3 episodes. I feel like they squandered these 2 episodes, and they should have been 1 episode because the amount of stuff that it's so decompressed. Like, there's just a lot of stressing, and Russell Tovey with like his ex, and just stressing, and what are we gonna do, and how are we gonna handle the situation? And it's like we could have gone with like half of that and just like got right into it, because like, you know, it's not super spoilery if you don't mind, but like the end of the first episode is basically like they show up and say that they want to talk to Russell Tovey. And like, that's how that ends. And you're just like, that's the ending for your first episode, is they show up and they're like, we would like to talk to Russell Tovey. And he's like, what? And then it ends. And you're like, is what?
We've seen him in years and years, and being human, we want to talk to him. Actually, I want an autograph.
He is our favorite.
So like the cliffhanger in the second episode, like, I'm like, okay, that's like an actual like cliffhanger, but like the first one was just like, why did we spend all this time setting up? Like, we really didn't need to. Like, it's that's
a common, you know, criticism that I've heard of the show so far, is that it needed that Disney format of a 2-episode drop, because the first one does not work without the second one, which I don't like. That the first episode should always work by itself.
Yeah,
that is the hook, and if it doesn't work, you can lose people. So that's why they've always done the 2-episode thing. So it's like, here we go. Granted, there are shows that I like where it's like, yeah, you kind of need the first 2 episodes for it to work. Andor doesn't work unless they dropped it as it did. Because I would not have watched Andor if I was just had that first episode. I actually legitimately needed the other ones to prop it up a bit. So there's good and bad with how they do that, but it's like, I think there's times where you should look at it and be like, can this work as one?
Yes, absolutely. And like, I just needed more to happen in that first episode, and overall, so like, it ends up just being like, all right, we only have 5 episodes. Why are we wasting like a whole episode basically of just like setup and trying to like build up the mythos, but not at the same time, because it's a lot of people sitting around and talking about this threat and what's going to happen and how they're going to deal with it. And then they like show up like more or less like towards the end, and it's talking and it's diplomacy, and it's like, this is like, all right, like this would work a little better if this wasn't every Silurian Sea Devil story too.
Ever.
I watched 50%'s review on it. And that was Aiden brought up this is literally just Hungry Earth Cold Blood, but Sea Devils instead.
Yeah.
Because in that one, that was the Silurian reintroduction, and it does in the second episode. There is they sit down and they talk it out to see what they see the spark the flames of like a truce. Can we get humanity and the Silurians to live together? And that's what I've heard about War Between the Land and Sea. Like these first 2 episodes, it's literally just that 2-parter again, but with sea devils this time.
Yeah. And there's like,
and that's just all their stories. That's why I don't like the idea. I never liked the idea of a Sea Devil spin-off, because it's just going to go back to that same story, that same thing of like, there's going to be a truce. Something bad happens.
Yeah, and they really lean into that, and they lean into the whole like they were here before, like they try to do a lot of parallels to like indigenous people and stuff like that with it, and like so I know like there's like a handful of people who made like, you know, criticisms about, you know, you're like woke Disney bullshit, all that, and it's like it's not that, but they do enough stuff in it that almost makes you think that they're intentionally trying to bait people into saying that stuff.
I would also say, because this is what Pete McTighe is one of the co-writers, because it's also RTD.
Yeah.
If you look at every episode that Pete McTighe has done for the main show, it's always a show that it has it's always an episode that has a message.
Yeah.
So with Kablam, the whole like, you know, capitalism, Praxeus with like pollution, Lucky Day, you know, the rise of like the right wing influences, and with this one, it's like we're going back to pollution again, and then I guess, like I haven't seen it yet, but I guess the whole like talking about indigenous peoples, like we had the lands first, but then foreigners came and they took it for themselves, and we don't have it anymore. So that's why another thing I was worried about with this series. It's just like, first of all, it's current RTD, so my expectations are low. Second of all, Pete McTighe always does this, and the messaging always falls kind of flat in the end. It's like he has the idea, but he misses it somewhere in the execution, and then the wrapping it all up, it doesn't work. Like with Lucky Day, with the whole like right-wing commentator, it's just like, we know that they're bad, and all you're saying is these guys are bad, and I'm like, yeah, I agree with you, they're bad, we shouldn't listen to them. Where are we going with this?
Yeah, so there's a moment in the second episode that feels very like, it kind of feels like, you know, towards the end of you know, the previous season, where we were just kind of like, so they are living in like this right-wing utopia now? Like, what? Like the way kind of there's a moment that's a little, and again, like there's still 3 more episodes. I don't know how much this is going to play into it, but minor spoiler, I think, unless this somehow plays into it later, but I can't see how it would, is the negotiating Sea Devil comes off very like, I think you're supposed to think she's a woman, but then she like becomes more masculine as she starts like getting more like war hungry and like more aggressive, and you're just kind of like, and they comment on like the people, they're like, oh, her physiology is talking about it, and you're just like,
that's okay,
what are we doing? Like,
it seems like we're gonna wait until we see what like the explanation is. Like I can see that there's something coming from that, but it's like I have to wait to see if it's addressed, and if like that's what they're going for.
And like, I don't know, like it's just the way it's done. I'm like, yeah, like I'm still gonna watch or whatever, but I'm still just like, I don't. it was just kind of like I don't know why you want audiences to wait to figure out what you're doing with that, because I'm genuinely like I don't really know which way this message is supposed to go. I'm assuming in a certain way, but I don't.
It's Peter Tighe, and he doesn't always deliver on the message. So
is it an opposite clownfish scenario? You know, the clownfish where they'll go ahead and if it's a bunch of men, the dominant male turns into a woman. Is that what they're? I don't.
Yeah, I don't
like this.
Like, it feels like it. The way it's presented just feels too clunky for that episode. And again, maybe it all makes sense later, but it was just like I felt like it was an odd like note to kind of leave hanging. And they also spend a little too much time talking about how we should properly address or call the Sea Devils. Homo aqua, and then they're like, well, what about this? Or technically and there's a lot of that talk. And like by a lot, I'm not saying like it's 20 minutes of the episode, but it's like it's enough where you're just like,
dude, does this scene really need to be this long?
Yeah, it's just like it's a little too much. And then there is a scene where a guy who's clearly more of an antagonist is like ready to go to war with the Sea Devils, and that would have been a great moment for that guy to call them Sea Devils. But this nasty guy who clearly hates them made it a point to refer to them by their scientific definition of like Homo aqua or whatever, and it's like, but he's a bad guy. Why wouldn't the bad guy call them Sea Devils? That
just reminds me of the whole like the DC Marvel crossover, and Joker meets Red Skull, and he's like, I'm evil, but I'm not a Nazi. Like, whoa, settle. Okay, I have my limit.
But yeah, it's just like, have him call him Sea Devils. He's the bad guy. What are you doing? Like, just like weird stuff like that. But
I can't believe they couldn't find a better name than Homo aqua.
Yeah, or like I don't know,
but term for them, so it doesn't work either.
No, it's all weird because like again, like it's so clunky because it's like you have these characters who are so concerned about this sort of stuff, and it's like, if you were actually concerned about that, wouldn't you ask them? Like, how would you like to be addressed?
I mean, the Doctor did that, but they didn't really care.
Yeah. So it's just like,
devil.
I don't know. So like, yeah, it's very like, I don't know. Like, I would probably give the first two episodes combined like a 6.5 or something like that. Where it's like, it's better than average. It looks great. There's some really good character moments, but like, it's missing. Which again, like the next three episodes could easily, like this might all be set up, and the next three episodes are just like high octane action or a mix of action and political intrigue. Maybe they infiltrate, maybe I'm sure they go down to like the Sea Devil lair or whatever and uncover something. Like, you have to. That's what you do in these stories, but we'll see. But right now it's like this is all right, but I need some more. And 2 out of 5 episodes, I should have gotten a little more. And if I got a little more and the first 2 episodes were combined and that's a little further, it would probably be more like a 7.5. But the pacing is just so slow, especially in the first episode, that it's like, hey, don't waste my time, buddy. Come on.
At least it can't be worse than Reality War.
Oh my God, it's so much. I think we all gave Reality War like a 1.
Yeah. But, yeah, no.
Close.
From what I've heard of the War Between the Land and the Sea, it's either people are saying it's okay or it's good or really good. And so far, I've just been hearing praise about, obviously the director, Dylan Holmes Williams. He's worked on a couple of episodes of Doctor Who.
Yep.
He directed 73 Yards, and even though I have a problem with that episode, I do like the direction in that episode.
Yeah,
and then Lorne Balfe does the score. I know a lot of people are like, "Holy shit, this is a get!" He did the Top Gun Maverick score, like the recent Dungeons and Dragons. So he's worked on a lot, definitely like a lot of stuff. So I'll have to wait and see until it comes out on Disney Plus, which I think is a stupid thing. I think it is both a BBC problem and a Disney problem of them doing that. I think BBC purposely, out of spite for not having the deal anymore, pushed it forward for them. And for Disney, they're like, well, we don't care. We're not in the deal anymore. And mainly also for the BBC, it's like, you want Doctor Who to be this big, or BBC and Bad Wolf, you want Doctor Who to be this big global thing, and you're only you're restricting it to just the UK from the get-go. It's such a weird thing. Like,
It's weird.
But then again, they've only ever really cared at just mainly the UK audiences. I mean, remember 60th anniversary. Let's restrict all of the 60th anniversary like celebrations to just the UK. Everyone else can have the three specials, obviously, but like everything else that we're doing to celebrate the 60th anniversary, you have to get it on iPlayer. It's like, wow, thanks. Fuck me, I guess.
Yeah,
That's right.
But the directing is very good, I should say.
Yeah, so it's just weird that, like, for everyone else, we have to, unless you sail the seven seas, you have to wait or use a VPN. But then again, I've always been the believer of, like, I'm not going to use a VPN because I would want to use a VPN for multiple things. If I'm using it for one thing, it's a waste of my money.
Yeah.
Like, I still watch other stuff on Disney Plus. I didn't use it just for Doctor Who, so I don't really. And I also have family that use it as well, so we're getting somewhat our money's worth out of it. But just having to wait till who knows when in 2026, because they still don't want to say anything about it. They're just like, it's in 2026. Don't worry about it. Who knows? Probably till then we can come back and do a full-on review of the series.
Yeah.
Find out at the end, did Russell T Davies save all of his genius for a spin-off? That would be hilarious and sad if that was the case.
Yeah, for all we know, this is going to end with an epic fight between the Master and Rose.
Gag me with the spoon. Well, speaking about fucking mind games, let's get started in talking about this Big Finish audio drama.
Yes.
Mousetrap. A seventh Doctor story with Ace and Hex. Do you have some details for us, Chris, before we get started with our reviews?
Yes, the Magic Mousetrap, which was released as part of the Big Finish main range. It was the 120th release by Matthew Sweet. It follows, as the summary says, Switzerland, 1926. The Doctor finds himself halfway up an alpine mountainside on his way to an exclusive sanatorium for the rich and famous, run by the Viennese alienist Ludovic Ludo Comfort. In between bouts of electric shock therapy, Ludo's patients, including faded musical hall turn Harry Randall, chess grandmaster Swapnil Khan, and Lola Luna, darling of the Weimar cabaret scene, fill their time with endless rounds of snap, among other diversions. But the Doctor soon suspects that someone's playing an altogether more sinister game. Someone with a score to settle. Ha 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 ha.
Nice touch. Gevain, I know you're. Go ahead and give us everything.
Well, Seven's one of my top doctors. I like Ace. First time getting introduced to Hex as a companion. I will admit, I was not gripped by this for the first part of it. I did not find the supporting characters all that interesting. I got that they were, it was kind of like, it reminded me of that, what was that 12th Doctor story, the one where they find themselves in the bank. I think it was without memories, and
Time
they were there to
Heist?
rob. Yeah, I believe so. They were there to rob it. This felt like a less interesting version of that kind of an intro. That story gripped me a lot more in terms of that kind of a setup than this one did. But like once it got revealed that the Doctor and Ace and the Hex started to realize who they were, and it started to pick up, I enjoyed the second part of the story more so than the first. But overall, from what I read, it's well regarded. It just didn't work for me. It didn't. Yeah, it just didn't work for me. And I think a lot of times when I'm listening to the Big Finish, you're kind of listening for that one character that's like going to be sort of like a really interesting, maybe not so much POV character, but at least somebody who just kind of makes the story pop. And that didn't really happen for me. Happen for with the story, so it was okay. I think I might be a little hindered by not knowing all the lore of the. Is it the Toy Master? That's what it is.
The Toy Maker.
Toy Maker. Yeah, not knowing all of the lore of the Toy Maker, it felt like you kind of needed to know a lot of his background for the story to make a little bit more, to have it be a little bit more pop. But when I compare it to, I think it was the Trial of the Valiant, is that what I remember? That to me was a lot more engaging. Like I didn't know anything about that character necessarily going into it, and I found that story as a Big Finish to be a lot more interesting than this one was. So for me, this was like, yeah, starting off like I didn't find the setup to be all that great or intriguing. Once it got going, it was good, but yeah, it just didn't grab me in the beginning. So yeah.
Joe of the Corallos.
Yeah, no, I mean, I probably like this one a little more, but I will say it's probably one of the better Celestial Toymaker stories, but that's a kind of low bar. I feel like the Celestial Toymakers. I feel like the concept of the Celestial Toymaker is usually stronger than the stories he shows up in.
Yeah, that's a common thing with like the Celestial Toymaker story. It's like the idea is great. It's not particularly a good episode or a good story.
Yeah. But so like and Sylvester McCoy is great. Sophie Aldis, Hex is fine. Sophie also, like, I think, and this is probably a part of what knocks it maybe a peg or two down for Gevain is like Ace has a handful of good moments in this, but it's not as many as other stories.
Yeah.
Like, like towards the end, it really, like, she has more agency and she's able to do more. But like you compare this to something like Fearmonger, where she has so much going on. It's really an Ace story, and even some of the other ones we've done here. I think the Ice Warrior Big Finish one we did, like, she has more to do. She doesn't have a lot to do, and I know that's kind of baked into the premise of a story. but yeah, so like that's a little bit of a drag. I do like how they do the Celestial Toymaker in this. I like how he sounds. I could see other people thinking it's annoying. I get it, but like,
Okay, doctor.
you know, it worked for me. We got in a good doctor, you know, and you only get those so often. But you know, so that was good. And like, again, I do enjoy this one, but the plot is a little needlessly convoluted. I think they could have made it streamlined the plot a little bit more. How many times are we going to do a story where someone hid the TARDIS in someone's head or whatever? Like that happens a lot. Like the first place you should look if you can't find the TARDIS is in your or someone else's head. It's what you should be doing. So like, so it does fall into a little bit of the like, it's convoluted, but we've seen the trope before, you know, and it's convoluted, but as soon as you know it's a Celestial Toymaker story, and as soon as they're just like, but how could the Celestial Toymaker be? You're immediately like, because you're not there. You're where the Celestial Toymaker is. Oh my God, how do you not know this, boy? You know, so there's frustration with that. All of that said, I do still enjoy this, but yeah, there are some clunky elements that I feel like if they could have like smoothed some of that out, made it a little less convoluted, given Ace a little more to do, this easily could have been one of those like 9 out of 10 kind of big finish stories, but there's just a few things that drag it down a little bit.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the beginning is absolutely, it's hard to get into with that first episode, because you do have, well, the doctor has amnesia. He doesn't even know who he is. Oh, I think I'm a doctor of some sort. And then I loved Queenie. She was absolutely charming, ditzy, fun. In the role she plays later in going ahead and defeating the Toymaker is also nice. Yeah. I love that bit too, because you have Ace and Hex, and they're thinking they're going to go ahead and they're doing what the doctor's plan was, but the doctor's plan was already foiled again by the doctor. I like that. It's too much. It's a mess, but it's the kind of mess I love. It's what I want.
It's a hot mess. That's good.
And then yes, the Toymaker being stuck in a dummy is just delightful. Okay. Especially when I think I just listened to it for my own enjoyment. What's the Charlie story, Chris?
Oh, Solitaire. Solitaire is great.
Solitaire. It's a great story with only the Toymaker and Charlie, and there's a 8th Doctor wooden dummy. It's fantastic. It's just, I don't know. Maybe that is also affecting how I'm thinking about it. But I need to finish listening to the Nightmare Fair, but I can't think of something with the Toymaker that I don't like, really. Like, even the giggle with By Generation, I enjoyed the Toymaker in it. So yeah, I adored it. It was great.
Awesome.
Chris.
So I've listened to this story before. I quite liked it. I will say that first half is unnecessarily slow to build it up. I did, like, when I was re-listening to it today, I'm just like, I don't remember it being like this slow. I think once it's revealed that the Toymaker is there, he's a doll, I think that's when it picks up and it becomes real. So yeah, performances, as always, are fantastic. This is, big finish-wise, probably my second favorite like toy maker story. Solitaire is fantastic. If no one has listened to Solitaire, absolutely listen to it. It's a fantastic story. Nightmare Fair is okay. I haven't listened to it in a while, but I remember it was being like, it's an okay-ish story, but no. This one, Magic Mousetrap, I did have, that second half is really interesting, and it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I do like the resolution of how to defeat the toy maker. It's just like, well, what if we just put him in a stalemate? He can't leave if he's in a stalemate. I like the whole thing of just like him becoming a doll, because it's like I kept winning, so I wanted to know what it was like to lose.
Yeah.
And I hate it. I don't want to lose anymore. I do not like it. I'm a doll. You've chopped me into pieces and ate them to get me to die. This sucks. So I'm going to manipulate everyone to try and get my body back. And I do like the doll effect whenever he talks. The kind of like rattling, like wood on wood whenever he talks. I think it's a nice little detail that they add. And actually, funny enough, if you even look at like the cast and crew, because I don't know, I guess they kind of tried to hide that it was a toy maker story. You don't have the toy maker credited, like whoever voices him. So, but he is on the cover, but he's just like very obscured, so you can't really see that it's like the toy maker in his Mandarin appearance. So yeah, despite the fact that like it's like slow start, but then the pace definitely picks up at that second half, I quite like the story.
Yeah.
So before we go into ratings, a little bit of facts. There's not a lot, but there's a little here with this story. Originally, this story was supposed to feature Agatha Christie during the time of her disappearance in December 1926. But because of the episode The Unicorn and the Wasp, they had to write that out. Because that also deals with Agatha Christie disappearing. Let's see. This story is actually the first appearance of the toy maker in a BBC licensed audio play, because technically he had appeared in the charity version of it, but then Big Finish did their own version after this story came out for the Lost Stories with the Sixth Doctor. And considering it's part of a huge story arc, there is a certain reason why there is a chess set in the sanatorium. And it is to do with an old Seventh Doctor villain, Fenric.
Yeah.
It is to allude to the fact that Fenric was coming back. So, nice little detail there. And obviously there's some references to some past adventures. The Doctor mentions that the last time he went to a dentist was in 1881, which is the Gunfighters. The Harry and Lola's song references the Doctor defeating the gods of Ragnarok back in The Greatest Show in the Galaxy. And yeah. And also the Doctor wears a pair of question mark pajamas. Why not? Which apparently was a short story called Question Mark Pajamas.
Yeah.
Okay. Why not? That was also a Seventh Doctor story. So, okay, makes more sense. I guess we'll go into ratings. Gevain, start with you.
Yes, I'll give it a 7.5. Like I said, I really enjoyed the second half of it. Like Chris said, once the toy maker reveals himself, it really picks up from there. I think if it had a better setup, something a little, I guess, less slow, and I think to some degree, it just felt very pedestrian, if that makes sense. But I think if it had been like a sharper setup in terms of the premise of what was going on, I would have enjoyed it a lot more. But I'm willing to give it a 7.5. I think it finished strong, and the performances were good, but it just needed to be snappier in the beginning, and maybe a little bit more straightforward, and a little bit. It just needed something with the supporting characters who were already in the sanatorium. Just something, just a little bit more like I needed a little bit more tension than there was. So yeah, 7.5 for me.
Nice.
Okay, Joe.
Yeah, I think I'll give this an 8. You know, I really did like a lot of it, but it does start needlessly slow and it's a little overly convoluted at points, but overall I did really enjoy it. So
Okay. I'm gonna go 9.
yeah.
I mean, I guess we do have a slow start, but it makes up for it for me. I love putting the toy maker in a stalemate. I think it's a good ending. I like plenty of the side characters, and yeah, I'm satisfied.
Excellent.
Yeah. I would also have to give it a 7.5 out of 10. Yeah, it is a needlessly slow start, but as soon as that reveal happens and the pacing absolutely picks up, it definitely gets a bit more interesting once we have the reveal of the toy maker being the villain. Yeah, I still quite like the story, you know, second time around. It's good. Like I said, second favorite Big Finish toy maker story. Everyone go listen to Solitaire. It's fantastic.
Nice.
Well, that's all right then.
I've just been waiting.
From the man himself.
That was some restraint you had.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't put it in earlier.
I was looking for the right moment. It just never came. Sometimes
I was gonna wait if like you were gonna say like, "No, this is my thoughts on it," and then you just played that.
No, that wouldn't be going with the rules of the game. Anyway, yeah, that's our show. We ask you to like and to comment and subscribe. It helps out the channel. Let me see what's next week. Next week is 17th. Yes, we should be back next week with more. Whatever we do. We'll see you then. Good night.
Good night.
Good night, Doctor.